Hi, I am Patty Lawler. Thank you so much for tuning in. Together we're going to celebrate my first program in a new season on ECTV. Many of you that know me know that I'm a little bit old-fashioned and I really love to reminisce in the 50s and 60s. I'm standing here in Pauls Barbershop in Clarks Summit. By far, it is the oldest business in the town. The building I'm actually in, where we'll be filming, is well over 100 years old. I just can't wait to introduce you to Paul the Barber. Well, Paul, I want to start by thanking you for coming in on your day off, opening the shop, this fantastic little gem here in Clarks Summit, with all this memorabilia that is so reminiscent of the 50s and the 60s. Paul, so where did it start for you? How did you become a barber?
I just grew up in a shop. My dad was a barber.
Terrific.
He's a barber, and he used to babysit me with a three-wheeler bicycle in the shop, and I just grew up in the shop.
Yeah, you learned the trade.
I started doing it. I started when I was 12 years old, and by the time I was in high school, I was doing everything, cutting and shaving. And then after...
Tell me about the shaving. That always intrigued me.
Yeah.
What about that? You'd see it in cartoons or on Carol Burnett skits. Before they got the shave, the barber would wrap the face up in a steaming towel. What was that all about?
To get the face nice and hot, you soften the beard, you put the lather on, gets the beard soft, and then with the straight razor, that comes off easier.
Now, it took a little moxie, that razor. That was as sharp as heck, I imagine.
Very.
So then the cream, it was like shaving, was there such a thing?
Yeah,
a shaving
the cup
cream.
and the brush.
Yes.
And you use that and lather the face and then shaved.
Yeah. That was a close shave.
Sure.
So we will forward to 2020. I want to hear just about you, how you started out, and how you opened your own shop. Let's take it from there.
Well, I came up here in high school. I was working with my dad, and I came up here in high school. Then, as I said, I went in the military up on the Czech border, putting in nuclear warheads and Honest John missiles.
And this was during what war?
The end of Vietnam.
The end of Vietnam.
And but anyway, I came
Thank you
back.
for your service.
Thank you. Then I came back, and I was in town here in the shop where I left when I went in the military also. And then I went down farther in another shop, and then this shop became vacant, and I moved into here.
So all of this, the chairs and the mirrors, it was all here for you. So when we look around the shop and we see the chairs, the people sit in, the men, it's mostly men.
Yes.
Or all men.
Yes.
So the chairs are really, this one especially, it's classic, it's vintage.
From the 40s,
Yeah.
late 40s.
You know, you can see the detail on the footrest, and that's real leather. We don't see that type of leather anymore. And the cornice and the paneling, it's all pretty retro.
Yes.
So, and now let's go into life in the day of a barber. What time do you open?
Oh, about 8 o'clock or so.
And what time do you close?
6 o'clock, 6:30, somewhere in there.
And 5-day week?
Yes.
Work week?
Yes.
Ever make time on your busy schedule for a vacation?
Little, not much, but I do.
And how many years again are you cutting hair?
Oh, 35, say.
Yes.
We'll go on that.
We'll go on 35. And the customers that come in, do they come in off the street, or are they regulars?
Yeah, you have strangers, you have your own clientele.
Yes.
And the guys that you've been doing for years.
Yes.
And it's just to repeat, and you do quality work.
Yes.
Give them good service, and
They come back.
They come back.
Do you remember Brill cream?
A little dab will do you.
That's right, a little dab will do you. And that ran like crazy on TV in the 60s.
Sure.
What was
That's just an old. It's an old. You remember it. You know, Brill cream.
remember
It's like wild root. Same thing. You know, it's a word that just stays with. It's just
That's
around.
exactly
Yeah.
right. What is Brill cream?
It was a cream for the hair. That you just put in your hair to keep it in place.
So it keeps it in place, and then probably gives it a certain sheen. And the crew cut, that's another thing. That always fascinated me, the crew cut. What exactly is, how do you go about doing a crew cut? I imagine you shave the sides, but that top, I'm sure there's a name for it, but talk about the top. How do you get that top?
Yeah, I specialize in flat tops and razor cutting.
Now, the flat top. So I imagine you're going to use the shears to take the sides.
Yeah.
But that flat top, now, did they use Brill cream to get those little tiny?
Well, they came out. You used to brush it back and cut it across, flatten it out. But actually now, quite a few years back, they came out with flat top combs, which I have right here, the flat top comb, and I use that all the time for flat tops.
Flat tops.
Sure.
So, and of course, the gentleman that's getting a flat top, he probably himself at home has the comb.
No,
Not
he
necessarily?
would just have a little wax to put in the front of his hair
Yeah,
to keep it straight, flat, across the top.
right.
That's about it.
Interesting. So when a fellow gets in the chair, you pretty much know these are your regulars.
What he wants?
Right.
Sure.
And, the old fashioned, if you're, see the barber shop in a sitcom or whatever, the customer at the end, you swirl them around, you give them the mirror to look at their hair, and then they nod, you take the
Smock off.
wrap the smock off, and
the cloth.
away they go until, do they come, did you say, every week or every...
Anywhere from 2 to 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah. I want to concentrate on the customers. When I pass by here, I think, what a charming place. There's always activity. Someone's in the chair, you're cutting, two are sometimes waiting to get in the chair.
Sure.
And it was almost not just coming to get their hair cut, it was almost social. Is it fair to say that there's a lot of gabbing and opinions and...
Absolutely.
Yes. And help me to understand this. You wonder, are they coming to get their hair cut, or are they coming to, kind of enter into, good gab fest with boy talk? I know women, when you go to the salon, there is, chit-chat among women. But I have a feeling the chit-chat among men is really more, men talk, if you will.
It's basically the same thing women talk what women talk.
Yeah.
Men talk sports.
Sports.
Cars, politics.
Current events.
Everything,
Yes.
the same thing.
Now, this must be really an award-winning season. We're in a presidential election cycle. So there's a lot of the news is changing all the time, and what we're living with in the world today. So do men usually, I know they like to opine. I know they bring their own...
Do you want to get it? You don't want to get it?
I know who it might be, but because Monday's my day off.
Oh.
The only one that knows I'm here would be my wife.
Oh.
Because she knows it's about this time that I'm supposed to be here doing this.
How cute.
And that's the only one.
Yes.
With the
We were
talking politics, anything to do with men talk.
Yes.
The cars.
Now, when you talk men talk, let's say we're talking about we're getting ready for the Super Bowl. There's one guy, he likes this team. The
Sure.
other guy likes that team. They didn't like the play. They didn't like the call. Now, men like that kind of talk because
Absolutely.
you put your ideas on the table. And I don't know if it's a man thing, but the man that doesn't agree with you, he's going to call you on it. He's going to say, I don't agree. I mean, the Giants, let's take the Giants. They've always been winners. And so, but there's always that back and forth, which I think is very exciting.
So the answer is, you have your opinion and I have mine.
Right.
And it's a game, and the one with the most points wins.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how it works.
Getting back to the socialization, you know, somebody moves into the neighborhood, somebody wants to know what's cool in the neighborhood, what the philosophies are, you know, whatever it is. A lot of realtors say, go to the barber. Go to Paul the Barber. He knows everything about this neighborhood and beyond. And I really do think, of course we have the newspaper, but you, with hearing all the different opinions of all the different customers, you have it, your finger is on the pulse. Let me ask you now a little bit about the shop itself. I want to talk just a little bit about your magazine collection. It is said that you had quite the collection that go back to the 60s. And
I've got rid of a lot of them, but there's a few on the rack there that are
Yes.
they're only a few years old, but
yeah,
they're kind of interesting. With,
they are interesting.
with cats, panda bears,
Yeah.
you know, sports.
Do you remember life and look and when we lived in a generation where John Kennedy was assassinated and Life right away came out with a great big extra edition, and just the quality of the paper and the writing and the pictures, and there were no unions then, and there were no mass productions. It was so well done. You know, the old adage, they don't make things like they used to. How about for relaxation? What does Paul the Barber do?
Fish, hunt.
Fish. Do you do the, what do they call it, ice fishing?
Yes.
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 Tell us about that.
I like ice fishing. I like to set the tip-ups and watch the flags go up
Yes.
when you put them on the ice.
So you're out in the cold, bundled up.
Out in the cold, and you have your
Yes.
live bait. And
Yeah.
you set up your tip-ups in the ice, drill holes,
Yes.
and watch the flag go up and then run for the flag.
This flag business, that's intriguing. You wait for the flag to go down, go up. So if the flag comes up,
That's when the
that means
fish.
you've got a bite.
That's correct.
Now, what do you use for bait? Any magic about what you're using on the hook?
Well, I use live bait.
Live bait.
Yeah, I like live bait.
Even in winter?
Well, yeah, and in the summertime too. I like live bait fishing. In the summer.
Are the fish more likely to catch, are you more likely to catch a fish if it's winter or summer or not really, doesn't matter?
That's just
Yeah.
it's how it is. You know, I mean, if they're biting, they're biting.
Right.
You know, you're in your right spot at the right time.
And whether you catch a fish, that's not the important thing. You like the outdoors?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And the biggest fish you ever caught would be?
Probably a 38 up north in Canada, fish in Canada, probably a 38-inch northern.
Wow. To reel that in. Now, this wasn't winter fishing.
No, that was in the summertime.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you know, it just as I'm talking to you, and you're proprietor and founder of the shop, it just, I have this resonating in my mind that you truly love what you do. You're not in any hurry to retire.
What would you do if you retired? Not in any hurry at all.
No. I think that, and I agree with this,
This is just a hobby.
it's a hobby.
That's all it is. It's just a hobby.
How about the customers? They're more than customers to you. They're personal friends.
Personal friends.
Yes.
Good guy. He took care of my grandfather. My grandfather was a vet like Paul. I've never saw my grandfather one day without starched shirt, starched pants, cleanly shaven hair. And when my grandfather was really sick in the hospital, Paul went twice to the hospital to cut him, shave him, and in his house. Because my grandfather, the thing that bothered him the most was that he wasn't put together. You know what I mean? Like, he was the type of guy who had to have his shoes shined every day.
The reason for that, he's retired military.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. He took
He
care
had
of his
20-some years
guys.
in the Air Force.
Yeah.
And that's what made to be that way.
So you're a man, if I could project, that loves what he does and does what he loves. You are living the American dream. You run into someone, you'll say, "How are things going?" And they say, "Oh, I can't wait to retire." And I said, you know, when you retire, you know, that's the last roundup in some ways. You want to stay working. You want to stay purposeful. And they look at me like I'm crazy, but this is just great. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this interview. Thank you for this gem of a business that you have. And go ahead. You'll be opening tomorrow morning.
That's right.
At what time will you be here?
Oh, 8 o'clock or so.
Great. Thank you for coming to ECTV and being our guest.
Okay, I thank you for doing this. And before at the end, I thank my father
Yes.
for being a professional tradesman and handing this down to me. I owe it all to him.
Beautiful.
He's my idol.
Beautiful. What a terrific compliment. Your dad is proud of you.
I'm proud of him.
Absolutely. I wished I knew him. If he's as nice as you, he's got to be a home run.
He's a great guy.
Beautiful.
Great guy.
Thank you.
I one more thing on that. He saw Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run
Oh,
when at that time, and I believe it was in Chicago. I think it was in Chicago. I'm not sure, but I believe but he saw him. He was there at the game when he saw Babe Ruth hit his 500 home run.
terrific.
I thought that was really great.
That was really
That's
great.
something to be there, you know.
Well, for sure, because what year was this?
It was probably, I'm going to guess, maybe 32, 33.
Yeah.
I don't know, 34, somewhere in there.
That is a joy. What a memory.
Yes.
And you're carrying the memory form. So
Yes.
stay well, stay happy, stay contented, stay busy, and thank you again.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Paul the Barber, have a good week, and I'll see you soon. Stay warm. Bye, Paul.